You're a fan of Stalin's.
Oh, I was an admirer. But
Wow.
we don't need to go into that, I guess.
And he laughs.
Let's,
Why would you possibly like Joseph Stalin, who is responsible for the deaths of millions of people? Hey folks, another React video because I can't let this one go by. Tucker Carlson, he's at it again. He's kind of like just passive and he's just kind of having these guests. Well, you picked absolutely the worst one you could have picked. And I think one of the things that Nick Fuentes says today on my React video of Tucker Carlson's show will blow your mind, okay? So everyone buckle in. I hate to even like put this on because I am spreading the awful anti-Semitic stuff that Tucker has been allowing and that Nick Fuentes has been spewing. And if you just watch this, you might not pick up on some of this, but there are some things that are said in this that make me so furious. So I want you all to be part of what we're doing here at InGrace Israel React, and I want you to comment. What do you think about Tucker Carlson? What do you think about Nick Fuentes? And by the way, Nick is a local kid. He's from in our area. He went to high school just a town away from where I was a pastor a few years ago. But it's the things that he says and the things that he has said and the things that the people that he's associated with that is just absolutely awful. And so I think we all need to hear this and know what they say and know how to answer. So here we go. I hope you guys are all ready for my React video today.
I guess my substantive disagreement, which I've said on the show also, is the idea that neoconservatism and Israel has nothing to do with Jewishness.
Okay, so just real quick, they have connected neoconservatism, which is the Republican conservative movement from, I don't know, a decade ago, into like this Jewish conspiracy. It's weird. I don't understand it. But here he's actually differentiating Israel and Jewishness. So listen to what he says.
Jewish identity, the Jewish religion, because clearly the state of Israel and the neocons are deeply motivated by that ethnic identity, and their allegiance to Israel proceeds from that. You know, the plan of greater Israel, the blood and soil nationalism of Israel, it stems from this ethno-religion, which is Judaism.
Well, yeah, and I'll just say this. Of course it does. Jewish people, they know what the Bible says. They, in all of their culture and all of their festivals and feasts, they talk about the land of Israel. They talk about Jerusalem. They yearn to go back. And although they do live, about half the Jewish people, in diaspora all around the world, I do believe that God is bringing them all home for a time. And maybe God is allowing anti-Semites like Tucker and Nick to spew in order to create the environment in these different countries, God forbid America, that we're allowing this to happen, but we are, so that Israel will go back to land for the final chapter in world history. So listen, it pains me that they say the things that they say, but don't act like it's a problem that the Jewish people have this connection with the land, because and they both claim to be Christians. You know, Nick says he's Catholic and Tucker some sort of Christian, but they don't have a proper understanding of biblical Israel. And I want you to pick up on that from what they say.
This is, just BLM, the new version. This is identity politics. They're engaging in identity politics. I mean, that's just so obvious to me. But the problem in your response, I get what you're saying, but the problem in your response is it does not apply to every individual.
No, and I would never say that.
Okay. Well, I just think it's important to say that, not
so Tucker's
to
like chiding Nick
dodge the accusations against you. My best friends are Jewish. Like, okay, I agree. Embarrassing, even though it's probably true, and it's true in my case, actually. But whatever. But because just that principle that we're all judged as individuals by what we do, that our faith, the decisions that we make, the way we live our lives, and God will judge every one of us in that way, and that's how we're supposed to judge.
And that's true.
Is that? I think that's true.
Yeah, and I totally agree. But I guess the disagreement is, you say identity politics like it's a bad thing. I think identity is a reality.
Identity is a reality. Absolutely. You just can't have a country of 350 million this diverse where it's just like warring ethnicities, because then it's Rwanda soon.
It's true.
And, the people with the most force just kill the others. So, like, you can't have that here, right?
And by the way, I think Nick has kind of come to fame in a sense, in a bad way, because he does love America and he wants to protect America. And they think that by allowing, illegal immigration definitely hasn't been great because we don't know who's coming. And I think that's important that we know who's coming. When people immigrate to the United States, listen, we are a nation of immigrants. We should want immigration. Immigration is a good thing, but it has to be controlled. We have to only let in those that support our Constitution, that support our freedoms. And a lot of these people that are coming in do not. And so I agree with them on that, but they've gone way too far. They become, Nick's known as a white supremacist. Now, he will deny that kind of stuff, and I haven't researched him enough to know one way or the other, but he definitely has said some things in this video that, like, shocked me. So what does he say?
Yeah, but I would say specifically as it pertains to, you, I think, have said it's the neocons, and I think that neoconservatism, where does it arise from? It arises from Jewish leftists.
Okay, so again, this is this conspiracy that the Jewish leftists, the rich Jews, have this big scheme. Okay, I 100% disagree with that. Those are the anti-Semitic tropes that the Jews have had to face, these blood libels for years. That is false, and they've made this, and the conspiracies, I think, will really get you. They'll bite you if you listen to these enough.
Who were mugged by reality when they saw the surprise attack in the Yom Kippur War.
Yeah, that's a lot of it, for sure. But then, like, how do you explain Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and there are a lot like that, John Bolton. I mean, I've known them all. George W. Bush, like Karl Rove. I mean, all people I know personally who I've seen, like, be seized by this brain virus.
Okay, so he calls it a brain virus. What is he calling a brain virus? People that aren't Jewish that support Israel. We have a brain virus, or this is a brain virus, Tucker?
And they're not Jewish. Most of them are self-described Christians, and then the Christian Zionists who are, well, Christian Zionists. Like, what is that?
Right.
And I can just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody. Because, like, what?
Wow, Tucker. Wow, you dislike them more than anybody. Unbelievable. And by the way, he was really easy on Nick Fuentes. Ted Cruz, he was going at him, okay? And he mentions Ted Cruz. He mentions Mike Huckabee. These are evangelical Christians that love Israel. And the reason we love Israel is not because we don't love America. As a matter of fact, here's what I think about America first. If you love America, which I do, but I'm a Christian, I want to love everybody, and I want to help other people of other countries, and I want to make sure the gospel gets to them. But why would I say we should support Israel as a country and help them and support them? Why would I say that? Because there's a blessing for those that do, and it's actually going to be better for America if we help Israel. This is unique. I wouldn't say that about any other country, but this country is unique. Ted Cruz gets that. Mike Huckabee, Ambassador Huckabee, gets that like nobody else. He is an amazing man. And for Tucker to be so derogatory against these incredible people, shame on him.
Because it's Christian heresy, and I'm offended by that as a Christian.
Christian heresy is
That's
not.
why. So I don't.
It is
why
not.
not? Like, I'm at the neocons. Very.
Beep.
I've said that a million times. I've been mad since December of 2003 when I went to Iraq.
Well, this is a really long video, so we're obviously just going to cover a couple things. So here's another section that they were talking about Israel, and I'm going to react to what they have to say.
You're one of those people. One of the reasons I wanted to meet you is you're one of those people who is defined by clips.
Yes.
And I'm one of those people also.
Yes, yes.
Right? So I get it.
Okay. They're defined by clips. Listen, if they said it, now I understand context. We do need to understand context, but some of the things that they're saying are so outrageous and inflammatory and false that a clip is all you need. And here's an example of this. This is Nick Fuentes talking about the Holocaust, but he's comparing it to baking cookies. How sick is this guy?
Max says, if I take 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies and Cookie Monster has 15 ovens working 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years, how long does it take Cookie Monster to make 6 million batches of cookies?
Okay, so obviously he's younger, but just the grin, he knows exactly what this is talking about. He knows exactly what the person is saying. So there's this conspiracy. The Holocaust is minimized. It wasn't as bad as 6 million Jews because the ovens couldn't have burned them fast enough. How sick is this guy that he would say this? And he's defined by clips? Well, if I said something like this, I better be canceled. I better not get any platforms. And Tucker, to have him, shows me Tucker's position on all of this stuff.
I don't know. That's a good question. Certainly, oh, no.
To laugh, to think this is
really
something.
Sound correct to me. Wait a
he
second.
needs to go to
It's 1
Auschwitz.
hour
I've been to
cook a batch of
Auschwitz.
cookies, and you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right? Doing 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years. How long would it take you to make 6 million? I don't know. It certainly wouldn't be 5 years, right? The math doesn't seem to add up there. The math doesn't quite seem to add up there. I don't think you'd result in 6 million, maybe 200 to 300,000.
So there it is. Like, okay, so even like 2 to 300,000, oh, that's okay? Exterminating a people because they're Jewish? This is where they will lead you. And this is where these conspiracies will lead you if you let it. You should be furious about a guy like Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. We've already done a React video about him and Candace. But listen, guys, this guy is bad news.
I'm going to just shut up and you tell me what you actually believe.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I mean, and I appreciate you saying that because that's just the reality of the media environment we're in. So I don't expect you to know all my views, but I mean, as far as the Jews are concerned, I think that, like I said, you cannot actually divorce Israel and the neocons and all of those things that you talk about from Jewishness, ethnicity, religion, identity. And let me give you like a perfect example. So you say on your show that we need to treat Israel like any other country. And I sort of understand that in principle because Israel is another foreign country.
Yeah.
But Israel is unlike every other country in the sense that because the Jewish people are in a diaspora all over the world, there are significant numbers of Jews in Europe, but also in the United States.
By the way, what he's saying here is actually really good. It's almost like he gets it, but the things that he has said and the things that he even says in here are outrageous, so he doesn't get it. But it comes across like he does because he's starting to explain why Israel is different. It's not just any other country. Nick Fuentes is actually explaining a reality of why Israel is unique and different, especially for Americans.
And because of their unique heritage and story, which is that they're a stateless people, they're unassimilable, they resist assimilation for thousands of years, and I think that's a good thing. And now they have this territory in Israel. There's a deep religious affection for the state. It's bound up in their identity, the story of the Exodus from Egypt, the promise of the land, all these things.
100%.
So let's say in the United States, for example, somebody like a Sheldon Adelson, he's not Israeli.
So he's going to rattle off a bunch of wealthy Jewish people. Sheldon has passed away. His wife is actually giving a lot of money for I believe, pretty good causes and supporting good things. But he's going to rattle off these people as examples of these neocons and people that are like using their money to influence and control.
Is he an ideological neocon? Does he believe in the promise of democratic globalism? I don't think necessarily. His heart is in Israel. And it's because he is a proud Jewish person. And I guess what I'm saying is that if you are a Jewish person in America, you're sort of and again, it's not because they're born, but it's sort of a rational self-interest politically to say, I'm a minority. I'm a religious ethnic minority. This is not really my home. My ancestral home is in Israel. There's like a natural affinity that Jews have for Israel. And I would say on top of that, for the international Jewish community. They're extremely organized, and many of them are critical of Israel or Israel's current government.
Which is really interesting to me. There are a lot of Jewish people in America that are very critical, and some very influential and wealthy people that don't even believe Israel should exist. So to have this idea, there's this big conspiracy, he's actually breaking it all down, which is really interesting to me. He seems to get this. He seems to get why Israel's different and why the Jewish people do have that special yearning and affinity for another country, although they live here in America or in other places.
Or the project of Israel. But I guess what they have in common, unlike, let's say, like Singapore, for example, is that they have this international community across borders, extremely organized, that is putting the interests of themselves before the interests of their home country. And there's no other country that has a similar arrangement like that. No other country has a strong identity like that, this religious blood and soil conviction, this history of being in the diaspora, stateless, wandering, persecuted, and in particular, the historic animosity between the Jewish people and the Europeans. They hate the Romans.
Isn't that interesting that he brings all this up? And I believe it's right. Like, if you just took this, you'd be like, wow, he gets it. He gets it. But he doesn't.
Because the Romans destroyed the temple. That's why Eric Weinstein goes to the Arch of Titus and gives it the finger and takes a picture. We don't think like that as Americans and white people. We don't think about the Roman Empire in 2,000 years ago. They do.
I do. If you read the Bible, you will not like the Romans.
I guess that's really, and I don't think that's me saying the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. I don't think that's me being hateful. I don't think that's me being collectivist. I think that's understanding that identity politics, whether you love it or hate it, whatever you feel about it, it's a reality that we live in a world of Jews and Christians, of whites and blacks. These identities mean something to us, and they mean things to each other, and we can't sort of wish them away. And it feels like white people and Christians are the only ones that do that.
By the way, in the specific case of Israel, there are a ton of Orthodox who I know who are opposed to the state of Israel.
That blows my mind.
They're more Jewish than Dave Rubin.
I see Jewishness as the common denominator. And you're right. It's not all Jewish people feel the same way. No one would say that, but that does seem to be the common denominator. And I just feel like it needs to be called out explicitly. And I like what you said. If the other day, if you're serving in another country's military or have dual citizenship, you really can't be a part of this project.
Well,
okay. So they're opposing dual citizenship. I mean, that's very common, not just with Israel and America, but with Great Britain and America or other places. So it's I know that a lot of the Jewish people will go to Israel, young men will go to Israel and fight in the IDF. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because we are very similar militaries. It's good military experience, and I don't see that as an issue. But obviously, they do think that is a problem. I don't.
And that's an easy one, but I am much more comfortable as a Christian and an American keeping it on that level because, it's easy to just set universal rules that apply to everyone, not just the Jews or the Christians or the anybody, just like Americans can only serve in the U.S. military or they lose their passport. I mean, I don't know. That's not hard. And I don't know. Why not just say that?
Say what?
That. Why not make every statement about how Americans ought to behave applicable to all Americans? Like it's the defensive universal values that will hold the country together and the emphasis on parochial group values that will break it apart inevitably.
Because this is a particular issue and it's acute. Like I said, I think they are unique in that way. I think that's a unique issue, especially in the Republican Party, especially in the conservative scene. So
how would you like this all to be resolved?
So let me just comment on that, this unique issue, and that's basically conservative Republicans supporting Israel, and obviously this far-right Republican conservative side are opposing supporting Israel, Tucker and others. And but what they're saying is there's this conspiracy, and it goes back, and they earlier mentioned in the video that Israel sold some of our military technology to China. And that may have happened. Obviously, that's not good. What we're not saying as Christian Zionists, as Christians that love Israel, we're not saying that everything Israel does and will do and has done is good, but we're saying as a general rule, we need to support this miracle nation. And I believe that from many levels. One is it is important for us to cooperate with the democracy in the Middle East that has our back and can help us develop technology, defensive and offensive weapons, and share intelligence. I think it is America first to support Israel financially and all these other ways. But on the next level and the higher level and a more important level is that God has a special promise on that people and on that land, and that is still in play, and we need to support Israel as a nation. And if we do, I believe we're going to prosper. If we don't, we will be destroyed.
What I would like is for the U.S. government to not be influenced by these kinds of foreign allegiances, not with money that comes from, American citizens like Sheldon Adelson, not from foreign lobbyists. So, I mean, in terms of tangible things, I don't think we disagree on any of it. Like registering AIPAC and FARA, banning dual citizenship. Like I'm basically in agreement.
I think 80% of the public agrees with those things. So that's kind of what gets me a little bit annoyed. It's like these are, like America First, the concept, it's the most popular, self-evidently true idea you could have. Like, don't let foreign powers, especially tiny ones far away, control your country.
Yeah, so they're not controlling our country, Tucker. We are fortunate to have leaders right now that support Israel and care about it. But even President Trump and his government right now has handcuffed Israel in several ways. By forcing the ceasefire, which again, I think the ceasefire is good in Gaza, getting hostages out, but keeping the door open to a Palestinian state, rewarding the terrorists after they have done such a heinous and terrible crime against humanity, to reward that right now, I think it is foolish. And so it's not like we have been in every way the best friend of Israel. I'm glad we've done what we've done. I really am. But I think we could have even done better and still do better. But they're critical of what we're doing right now for Israel. But I'm thankful that President Trump is not listening to Tucker or Nick.
It's not. Mm-hmm. Everyone agrees with that on both sides.
Yeah.
So the trick is not to let that idea get subverted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think we agree on that.
But it's subverted when they're like, that's hate. No, that's hate. It's not hate.
Yeah. Well, and, here's what I will say. I think that there is increasingly a contingent, because what you're talking about exists.
And I'm not saying hate. It's not hate that they question Israel. Again, I have no problem with that. But when you come at Israel, you should have come at Nick the way he came at Ted Cruz. This tells me a lot about Tucker Carlson. They come at Israel like that. They come at Israel with accusation, not questions, but by the way they come at Israel, it's accusatory. It's this, you have all of these agents, AIPAC, which they're not agents for Israel. These are American citizens and American money that are lobbying America on behalf of the country they love, Israel. It's different. It's unusual. It's not bad. It's not wrong. These guys have it all backwards.
You say that there are people that legitimately detract from this. There is legitimate racial hatred out there.
Big time.
So I think Nick comes across as, kind of like, I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm not a racist, and all of that. What Tucker said about Christian Zionists blows my mind. What they were both saying about this conspiracy and all this Jewish money that's controlling this and that, that's wrong. But this is all I needed to hear. Wait until you hear what Nick Fuentes said to Tucker Carlson. And I can't believe Tucker didn't go crazy. He went crazy on Ted Cruz when Ted couldn't answer the population of Iran. But he doesn't go crazy on this, and he should have. These guys are crazy.
So it was like mid-December, late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's.
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer. But we don't need to go into that, I guess.
And he laughs.
Let's let's get back to it.
Tucker's kind of stunned.
It was weird because...
But guess what? He doesn't. You can't leave that one unanswered.
The reason I mentioned that, it was almost like, because I woke up that day and I was like, oh, it's December 18th. And I was just like very acutely aware of like, today's like a strange day.
Why would you possibly like Joseph Stalin, who is responsible for the deaths of millions of people? Okay, so this is awful. This is terrible that he would be on. He has said good things about Hitler. He has minimized the Holocaust. Tucker Carlson has him on, and they're both complaining about being canceled. We don't have to cancel them, but don't listen to them. Don't platform them. Don't give them any more impressions or views or clicks. Folks, we have got to do better, and we got to confront this hate. Well, my heart rate's up. I need to calm down. What really calms me down is understanding, though, we have a messed up world. There is hope. There's salvation. There is a creator who made us. Everything was right. We messed it up. And he came into creation. He became one of us. He did not sin, but he died as a sinner on a cross. He rose again. And he will save you if you'll simply put your faith in him. Everybody needs salvation, and everyone can be saved by simple faith in Jesus, the Jewish Messiah, who came, lived, died, and rose again. He's coming back, and he wants us to love the people that brought him into this world. Whether they get it or not, it doesn't matter. Love them, support them. There's a blessing for that. God has a future for ethnic Israel. And I'm glad that I can partake in the blessings that he has for them as I've been grafted in. If you want to watch all of our other InGrace Israel videos, we got a ton. We got a lot on archaeology. We've got some stuff that no one else has on proofs of the Bible, especially in archaeology. And we would love for you to watch all of those videos. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to our InGrace Israel channel. We have an InGrace Adventures channel as well. Subscribe to both. We appreciate that. If you want to give to help us make more content that is pro-Bible and pro-Israel, please consider supporting us. The best way to do that is at ingrace.tv. Well, thank you so much for watching today. And until next time, may God richly bless you and your family. Hi friends, we're in Israel at the Garden Tomb, and I would love to host you on your trip to Israel. Wouldn't it be an amazing place to come, especially in this beautiful garden where there's an empty tomb? Israel is waiting for you, and I believe we need to stand with Israel in Israel.
Experience the trip of a lifetime to the Holy Land with Jim and Karen Scudder in February 2026. You will be blessed to see the land of the Bible and walk in the footsteps of Jesus. Don't miss this unforgettable journey. Join the InGrace Tour and Solidarity Trip. Learn more and reserve your spot today at ingrace.tv/travel.